Hi there, Tom Bellinson from A2 Agile, back with you again. And as you can see, today I'm in full rock and roll regalia here. Got the lights flashing, got my cool hoodie. Hoodies are interesting because they're sort of common amongst Agile team members and also rock and rollers. So that's why I'm wearing a hoodie today. This is my rock and roll hoodie. Um, and today I want to talk about six that jam bands and Agile teams have in common. In fact, I would argue that a jam band is an Agile team. They must practice the same kind of things that Agile teams practice. And I thought that while we go through these six things, let's listen to a little jam band music. This is my band. It's called Todessy. And I often play some of our music underneath, but I just thought I'd call it out today since we're talking about jam bands. And this tune, by the way, is something we just made up on the fly. No planning, just started playing, see what happens. So let's start with number one. Jam bands must know how to play their instruments. They have to be competent. And this is true of Agile teams too. They have to have, their specialty well under their belt, each member of the team, in order to be fully functional. Number two, jam band members have to understand music theory. It's not enough to just memorize songs, because when you're playing improvisationally, you have to be able to hear what's going on and sort it out in the context of some theoretical underpinning of the music in order to be able to play together. And this is true of Agile teams too. Like working in a business, you have to understand the team practices and the cultural structure within which everything is working. So there's this common underlayment of shared understanding that you have. Number three, jam bands must understand the different genres that they play. Unlike a lot of kinds of music, jam bands play multi-genre music. They play rock, they play Latin, jazz, reggae, funk, soul, country western, roots music, all these different genres, and sometimes they mix them within the same song. So they have to understand these different things. And for an Agile team, this is sort of like having a shared understanding of the different contexts in which they're operating and the context of their customers and how their customers have different situations that they have to work and having this broad understanding of all the different things that are driving the decision-making process is critical. Having that research underpinning. Number four, it helps for jam bands to know a little bit about the other instruments. They don't necessarily have to play the other instruments, but they at least have to understand what the driving force behind each instrument is. For the bass, the drums, the guitars, the saxophones or horns. All of these different instruments have different drivers that sort of motivate their playing. And you need to understand that in order to collaborate and work together. And the same is true of Agile teams. There's something called a T-shape where everybody has some understanding of what everybody on the team does, but goes deep on their own specialty. And so this is what's really critical for Agile teams, to have that common understanding, to collaborate and work with each other. Number five, they need to get along. It seems like a dumb thing, but working together as a collaborative unit, you can't just come together and play the music from memory and go home. You have to have an affinity for each other for the magic to happen. And this is exactly the same for Agile teams. You have to work well together to get that collaborative effect that is so critical to the success of an Agile team. And number 6, the longer a jam band is together, the better they're going to understand how each other thinks, how they move, and the music just gets better. That collaboration gets so much tighter and more intuitive, and magic things happen. And this is true of Agile teams. The more stable they are, the more together they are, the better things are gonna work. And I'm gonna give you one more bonus thing that I didn't plan to give, but it's something I wanted to offer to you, and that is failure. Jam bands sometimes fail spectacularly, even in a live performance, because they're operating without a net. Sometimes things can go really awry. But the beauty is that jam bands are great. Good jam bands are great at recovering from that, and very often the audience doesn't even notice. And that's true of great Agile teams too. When they make mistakes, they learn from them. They cover them up quickly because they're skilled at making mistakes and fixing them quickly. It's part of the learning process of being a great Agile team, is making those mistakes and learning from them. So I hope you learned a few things today about Agile teams, maybe about jam bands. I hope you enjoyed the music. I thank you for listening. We'll talk again soon. And as always, reach out to me on a2agile.com if I can be of any service to you. Take care. Have a great day.